What's up, guys? Welcome to Cage Connor. I am Connor. This video is going to be my preview show for the upcoming UFC in Paris card. I believe it's UFC ESPN Plus 116, something like that. I don't know. We never label these things correctly, anyways. It doesn't matter. Yeah, UFC Paris going down this Saturday. That'll be September 6th over in America. I think it's the same in Paris too. I don't know why I said it like that. I'm acting like Europe is like a day ahead of us or whatever. It's not. It's not. Doesn't matter. Main event going down, gonna be Nasruddin Imavov versus Kyle Baralio. Very excited for this main event. Very interesting fight for the middleweight division. Very interested to see what happens to the winner of this fight, because Hamzat Chimaev now reigns supreme over the middleweight division, and he needs a fight. He needs a fight, and we don't have a clear number one contender. We figure, I guess, the winner of this will probably be the clear number one contender, or the winner of Reiner De Ritter and Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, which goes down in middle of October. So it's not seeming like Hamzat Chimaev is going to fight again anytime this year, but probably early next year is when we'll get another Hamzat Chimaev fight, which is weird because he said he wanted to fight in Abu Dhabi. Doesn't seem like the UFC is keen on making that happen at all, but whatever. I guess it's kind of a little middleweight tournament going down here, and then an awesome co-main event on this card too. So let's get into it. But before we do, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel over at CageConnor on YouTube.com. You're probably there right now, so go ahead, just click that subscribe button for me. I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right, let's get into it then, guys. Your first fight of the night, of course, actually in your main event, Nasruddin Imavov taking on Kyle Baralio. Nasruddin Imavov coming in at a plus 108. Kyle Baralio coming in at a minus 136. Very interesting fight here, you know. Nasruddin Imavov kind of going under the radar a little bit, you know. He really is like the dark horse at middleweight right now, which is weird because he just knocked out Israel Adesanya. And it's like, man, if you knocked out Israel Adesanya like 2 years ago, you were the fucking champ, you were the man, and you were into superstardom. You go, you know what I mean? And now it just kind of feels like he did that, and it's like, yeah, but a couple guys have beat Izzy before you now, so it's not that impressive. Kyle Baralio riding a 7-fight win streak right now in the UFC, looking very impressive. Kind of the leader of the pack of that Fighting Nerds team down in Brazil. And he's been looking very impressive thus far. Hasn't fought in a little over a year, which is a little worrisome, I think, for this fight. You know, I like it when guys stay active. So does Dana White, and yeah, it's weird that he sat out a whole year, but I think he just really wanted this fight, and it just didn't line up until now. So whatever, we get it now. Hopefully he's sharp, no ring rust on him. Like I was saying, Nasruddin Imavov coming off the Israel Adesanya win, in which he was kind of losing that first round. I think you know, and it's like, who cares? He knocked him out in the fucking second round. Who cares if he lost the first? But he didn't. You know, it was a competitive first round. You know, and he's on a 5-fight win streak right now. I think his last loss was to Sean Strickland, which aged pretty well considering Sean Strickland went on to become champ after that. So not a bad loss to have, and maybe we'll get a rematch of that somewhere down the line. I mean, certainly Sean Strickland's probably rooting for Nasruddin Imavov to win here because he's like, hey, I gotta win over that guy, and if he gets the belt, well, shit, sets up a rematch right there. Cabaralio coming off that win over Jared Cannonier from back in last August 2024, in which that was a war, man. And you know, it's like Nasruddin Imavov also has a win over Jared Cannonier, and he TKO'd him. Granted, it was a very early stoppage, and even Jared Cannonier said that. But well, I guess Jared Cannonier is gonna be the number one person to say that, right? But nonetheless, was a great fight, and got him out of there in like the 4th round, I believe, Kyle Baralio. So let's see. It's a big step up in competition here for Kyle Baralio, and it's like Nasruddin Imavov has the wins over Israel Adesanya, and you know, a more impressive win over Jared Cannonier. It's like Kyle Baralio kind of needs the win on that level. You know what I mean? Like an Izzy, like a Robert Whitaker, like a DDP, something like that, and Imavov has that in his bag now, right? Cabaralio does not, and I suppose he can get it here if he does beat Imavov. But nonetheless, Cabaralio been looking pretty impressive his whole career thus far. I think I'm leaning Kyle here. I think Kyle's just a bit more well-rounded, and maybe his striking has gotten better over the last year. If his striking's improved, Imavov's fucked, because his striking was already looking pretty good, but like training with those fighting nerds, all the other guys are strikers at that gym, you know, besides Kyle Borralho, who's an elite level grappler. Not so much on the striking side, but then, you know, he's training with Ruffy, he's training with Carlos Prates, training with John Silver, who are all like elite level strikers now in the UFC. And I wonder if that's kind of rubbed off on him a little bit. So I'm gonna assume Kyle Borralho has improved in the last year. It's not like he's been injured or anything, so he's just been training and getting better. And he's a young guy too, so I'm picking Kyle here. I'm not super confident in it. I'm gonna go Kyle Borralho by decision. Not super confident in it though. In our co-main event, Benoit Saint Denis versus Mauricio Ruffy. Benoit Saint Denis coming in at plus 172. Mauricio Ruffy coming in at minus 225. This is the most exciting fight of the night for sure. Cannot wait for this one. Benoit Saint Denis, of course, coming off the win over, God, what was this guy's name? Kyle something. Back in Canada. It was a short notice, late replacement fight. I forget who he was supposed to even fight on that card. But nonetheless, here we are now. Benoit Saint Denis, of course, you know him from the well, he had some emphatic knockouts, but you mostly know him from the Dustin Poirier fight and then the Renato Moicano fight, which didn't go his way. And he was kind of like an uber prospect, especially after this Matt Pavola knockout. Like everyone was saying, like, "Oh, this is the guy to beat Islam. This is the guy to beat Islam." Dustin Poirier put a stop to that pretty quick. Then he turned around again pretty quick, fought Renato Moicano, and that didn't go well. Picked up and win his last fight, and now we're here. And I don't know if BSD can get that back, get that hot prospect, get that amount of fans behind him again to the point where we're all saying like, oh, this guy's gonna win the belt. It's gonna be very difficult to win that back. But if he beats Mauricio Ruffy, I mean that's definitely a huge feather in his cap there. Mauricio Ruffy coming off the knockout of the year over Bobby Green from back in God, when was this, like Aprilish, I want to say, in which he knocked him out with a spinning wheel kick. Still the knockout of the year. I mean, I guess you can argue Lerone Murphy versus Aaron Pico is knockout of the year now, but for my money, it's still this. Mauricio Ruffy been looking very good in the UFC thus far. Definitely a big step up in competition for him here. Well, we assume. I guess we don't know super well how good BSD is, but regardless, a step up in competition. I believe it's number 15 versus number 13 in the rankings here, so winner moves up to fight someone in the top 10 probably. I'm gonna go Mauricio Ruffy here. I don't think BSD. I think BSD will try to wrestle, but I don't think his wrestling is actually all that good. You know, like he's not like a Dagestan guy. You know, I think people try to make him out to be that, but he's not. He doesn't have that high level of wrestling. You know, you don't get controlled by Renato Moicano like that if you have like super high level wrestling. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go Ruffy here. I think he's gonna avoid most of the takedowns and probably get a TKO second or third round fight, I guess. Mauricio Ruffy, just flashy on the feet. Next fight, Modestas Bukauskas. Yeah, I'm totally butchering that name. Medeus, I think it's Medetas Bukauskas. I'm gonna go with that. Versus Paul Craig. Bukauskas coming in at minus 225. Paul Craig coming in at plus 172. Paul Craig just seems very checked out of his career right now. You know what I mean? Bukauskas running a 3-fight win streak coming in here. Last win over Ian Cutelaba. Paul Craig, like I was saying, he's he's coming off this weird one where the fucking dude he upkicked totally faked being knocked out. You guys probably remember this. This was back on that Atlanta card from back in June. God, I forget the guy's name who did this, but it was hilarious. Paul Craig upkicked this guy, and the guy just like totally acted like he was knocked out, which is in his right, I guess. I mean, he didn't get hit with an illegal upkick. Like it was the funniest fucking shit. MMA sometimes, man, it's hilarious. But nonetheless, yeah, Paul Craig. This one was a no contest, but before that, he's running a 3-fight losing streak. He hinted at retirement even after this fight, and it's just like I feel like he's just checked out. You know, he's just kind of yeah. If they want to give me a couple fights, I'll take the paycheck, but mostly he's done with this whole MMA thing. So I'm taking Bukauskas, probably by finish, pretty early, second or first round. Yeah, I just think Paul Craig doesn't really have it in him anymore. Doesn't really have that fire in him. It's kind of went out, and which happens as you get older, right? So no shame. Paul Craig's career has been pretty fun, and I think this is potentially the last time we will see Paul Craig fight. So shout out to Paul Craig. In your next fight, then Olaiji Okay, I believe that's how we're saying this one. Coming in at plus 116 versus Mason Jones, coming in at minus 142. Mason Jones coming off that big win over Jeremy Stevens back in Des Moines, Iowa. Okai coming off a win in his own right. I believe this is third UFC fight. So we'll see. You know, mostly a striker here. Got some heavy hands. Mason Jones was a big Cage Warriors prospect. I believe he was in the UFC before, got cut, went off the UFC, won some more fights in Cage Warriors, came back. Yeah, I'm picking Mason Jones here. I think he'll get it done, probably by decision. He's not, you know, it's hard to get finishes in the UFC when you get to that level. So we'll see. We'll see if Mason Jones can pull something out there. I'm gonna go Mason Jones by decision. Uh, Next fight, Axel Sola versus Reese McKee. Axel Sola coming in at minus 142. Reese McKee coming in at plus 116. Interesting fight. Reese McKee, probably most known for that Hamza Chimaev fight, which he got dominated in. Axel Sola, newcomer, making his UFC debut here. I believe he is French, so they signed him, put him on this card. He's a 10-0 prospect, 27 years old. So watch some highlights. He looks pretty good. And we'll see here. Reese McKee hasn't had the best UFC career. I know he was a very high touted prospect coming out of Cage Warriors, but hasn't really been able to quite show it in the UFC. He did get a TKO winner in his last fight, so that kept him around for a little while. But yeah, he's an underdog again coming in against a UFC debut. So we will see how this one goes. I'm gonna go Axel Sola, probably by decision. It doesn't look like he gets too many finishes off his record, so we're gonna go decision there. And then your last fight on the main card, Patricio Pitbull versus Lacine Kieta. Patricio Pitbull coming in at plus 168. Lacine Kieta coming in at a minus 220. And I just read that this fight is off. So never mind. I had a whole spiel for this fight. I was actually very excited for this fight, and it sucks. What could have been? What could have been? I would have been picking Pitbull, honestly. I think there was value on Pitbull there. But Lacine Kieta did miss weight by like 3 pounds, and Pitbull did not accept the fight after that, I'm assuming. So there you go. Fight's off. That sucks. That fucking sucks. Here's my picks for the whole cards. Picks are in green. The method in which I think they are gonna win are in parentheses there. Ignore that. I have Sam Hughes unanimous decision on the bottom there. Not Shannon Burner by unanimous decision. That's not happening. I think I'm also missing a fight. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Tracy Pitbull, Lacine Kieta, canceled. That sucks. And that's going to do it for the video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel over at KChat Connor. Very much appreciate it. We'll see you in the next one. Be doing a post-fight show that should post on Sunday or Monday after the fight. So if you guys want to watch that, please do. See you then.